Hi, Mark here. Monday, October the 20th, just after 10:30 a.m. Eastern. That's just after 2:30 p.m. GMT. Let's how the US dollar is performing now that the US session is underway. Small red candlestick, that US dollar weakening, tried higher during the Asian into the European session and looks like it's giving up those gains and US dollar struggling as the US session does get underway here. I've got resistance at 98.40 and I've got support at 98.15. If I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see the initial move uh, showing some dollar strength, giving up those gains right now. And you can see the big red candlestick in this hour sitting at 98.24. And sellers of US will be looking down at this 98.15. Let's have a look at the majors and how they're performing. Starting with the Euro US, I'm on the daily candlestick. US did start strong. I've got support at 116.44. That's selling euro, buying US. But there you can see the turnaround. It's now a green candlestick that's buying euro, selling US dollar weakness. Buyers will be looking up at the intraday resistance at 116.75. I'll zoom in on that hourly. There you can see initially selling euro, buying US dollar strength. Here's the turnaround, buying euro, selling US dollar. You can see in this past hour the green candlestick. Buyers will be looking up at the 116.75 resistance level. Let's look at the pound against the US. Doji candlestick for now. No real body. Back where it started. Did start lower, meaning selling pound, buying US dollar strength, and that gave us support at $1.34. Pound has fought back. I've got resistance at 134.43. And on the hourly, there you can see selling pound, buying US dollar. And here's the turnaround in this hourly candlestick, the green candle, buying pound, selling US dollar, looking up at the 134.43 intraday resistance level. US dollar Canadian. Uh, let's start with the yen. So US dollar yen. There we go. And there you can see weak US dollar against the yen. There's the red candlestick. Very early started strong. There's that wick that gave us resistance at 151.21. But right now, looking down at support at 150.23, that's a 100 pip range already as the US session gets underway. Red candlestick. Let's zoom in on that hourly. Hung around the middle after US dollar strength early, then came down pretty much sideways going into this US session. But now we can see US dollar being sold off, the same as we're seeing against the euro and the pound at this time. 150.45 current level, and sellers of US, buyers of yen will be looking at the 150.23 intraday support level. And the last of the majors we'll look at is the US dollar against the Canadian. A little bit of a different pattern here. Here we're seeing US dollar still maintaining. I've got support at $1.40 and I've got resistance at 140.50. That's a 50 pip move. You buying US dollar, selling Canadian all the way up to that resistance level. US giving up some of those gains now. There's the wickets left behind. You can see if I zoom in on the hourly, there you can see the US Canadian fighting back against the US from this resistance level. Not much movement, and already US looks like it wants to get back up to this resistance level right now. So I've got resistance 140.50. I've got support 140.05 in the euro, the pound, and the US. We Euro, pound, and yen are all fighting back against the US this morning. Canadians struggling to fight back right now, and US still on the front foot against the Canadian. Buyers of US will be looking up above this $1.4050. Sellers will look down. Sellers of US, buyers of Canadian looking down at the $1.40 level. We've got resistance and support levels to work with. US dollar started strong, giving up those gains against most of the majors. We'll see how that plays out during the rest of the session. Good trading, and I will see you at the end of day.